Double up with that 66 to 1 shot, the Haggis won in the Phillies, and there's the wedding.
Hello and welcome to GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by BetMGM. Now, you may have noticed that I'm not Kate Tracy, but at least with me hosting, there might just be a little bit less waffle on offer. You may actually wonder where Kate is, and I wonder if it's because 2/3 of you are still not subscribed to the GG YouTube channel. So make sure you do that. And then to share our love for Kate, to try and lure her back, make sure you smash that like button. As I touched on, I'll be hosting this week's show, which means I'm going to take a bit of a backseat from the tipping perspective. Some of you may be cheering, some of you should be sad, but do not fear. We have Andrew Mount, as per usual, Housewife's favourite, and Matty Sutcliffe, who's been in tremendous form. He's been throwing up big price winners left, right and centre, so absolutely no pressure coming back in this week. Matty, we actually had a pretty good time of it ourselves last week. Kate's Nap King of Conquest won. Andrew and I's Nap Tales of the Heart ran second, just sort of bumped into one, but yeah, is what it is. Kate and I agreed on Montasib. Andrew even threw up the third in there, Willem Twee. We took on Kinross, didn't we? There was also some more each way money up for grabs. I had Kings Lynn in second. Andrew had Bring Back Memories in third. They were both 15-2. And Andrew and Kate both put up a valuation each way in the Northumberland play, who ran second at a massive 40-1. So fingers crossed, a few of you made a few quid. That might actually be why Kate's not here this week. Maybe she made so much, she's decided to ship herself off. Right, let's crack on. I said there'll be less waffle. We're covering all of this Saturday's ITV races. They come from a mix of Sandown and Haydock, and they culminate in the comeback of Derby hero City of Troy in the Group 1 Eclipse. We kick off with the 5 furlong Coral Charge. That's the 150 at Sandown, a Class 1. We have 10 declared. Living the Dream is heading the market as your 2-1 favourite. We've actually had 4 of the last 9 favourites succeed in here, including Batash back in 2017, but none of the last 5 favourites have done it. So, Andrew, are we prepared to forgive Living the Dream's Achilles run last time out?
Yeah, disappointing that, wasn't it? Given that he wasn't expected to enjoy the soft ground when he finished second in the Temple Stakes on his reappearance, so, which he drifted from 5-1 out to 8-1, only got chinned by half a length. And then on ground he was supposed to like, he's run a bit of a shocker. So it's a tricky one. Interesting stat with this race: 9 of the last 10 winners were in the top 3 betting last time out. There are only 3 qualifiers this time around: Living the Dream, Apollo 1, and Change Sings. Change Sings is about 100-1 for this race, I think. So Apollo 1, kind of like a horse to put in your play spots, and he does seem to like finishing second or third, dropping back in trip, but I could still see him being thereabout. But the one I'm going to go for, which does not qualify on that top 3 of the betting last time out, is Desperate Hero for Jack Shannon. Now, this ran an incredible race at Hamilton last time out. He's absolutely bolted up by about 5 lengths in a handicap, and you look at that race, it's worked out incredibly well. 14 horses have run since. 5 of them won. Profit of £15.75. You back them all. 3 more finished second. 2 of them at 15-2, and another one at 5-1. 3 more finished fourth, including Never Dark at 40-1. You'd have got paid each way with some firms on that. So I was so impressed. I was always wondering what they're going to do next time out with Desperate Hero. He's running off a mark of 104 now. Where he's got £13 for that win. But given how well it's worked out, given how easily he won, I've just got to back him here, even though he didn't fit the top 3 in the betting last time out stat.
Fair enough. So it's Desperate Hero, top price 7-1 for Andrew. Matty, he's taken on the favourite. We like to see it. How about you? Are you prepared to forgive what he did last time out? He was well beaten, wasn't he? And he's a short 6-4 for this, although he's 2-1 top price. 3 places up for grabs each way bet, or do you think you might back a favourite?
No, I'm in complete agreement with Andrew here. Definitely take on Living the Dream. I mean, he's kind of one of his kind of main attributes with his gate speed, isn't it? And the fact that he just kind of stumbled out the gates last time at Haydock, and you won't want to do that around Sandown. You just wonder whether he had such a tough season last year. It's starting to catch up on him. I don't think even though he did run well at his top start, he just doesn't seem to be the horse he was last season. But yeah, Desperate Hero, complete agreement with Andrew. I mean, that form has worked out so well, hasn't it? And what impressed me as well with that run at Hamilton was that you think Hamilton's a stiff climb in the finish, and but he clocked the quickest 2 final furlongs, and he was able to stay in that early pace as well. So top career best RPR of 115 as well, which is the highest RPR of any of those horses in this race last time out. So with any natural improvement, then he's bang there to be to win.
Nice. First race back on, and you're both in agreement. I mean, we have seen in recent weeks when we get at least a couple of the judges in agreement, it tends to bode relatively well. Of course, we take it in turns to go first. So, Matty, you can't just keep copying Andrew as we go on. You'll be going first. You'll be going first for our next race, the 205. It's our first race from Haydock, a 1 mile 6 handicapped, class 2. There are 14 declared. 3 places up for grabs. There are some doing extended places. BetMGM may be doing that. I can't quite see on their site at the moment, so make sure you check out what the terms are. But William Haggas has taken 3 of the last 4 runnings of this race. Has Dramatic Star as the 4-1 favourite in it at the moment. But Too Bossy for Us was one that's been priced up quite short by one firm, 4-1 also, as big as 7-1. So it's one of these markets, Matty. It looks like we've got a load of single figure prices. We've got maybe 6 of them in here, 14 runners. I reckon there's some mileage in this market between now and the off time. So I reckon there's some value to be found. Where is it?
Yeah, the interesting stat with this race is that 3 of the last 7 winners were coming off the back of a defeat in the Ascot King George, and then had all won that race prior to Ascot as well. And then the only qualifier in here for that is 4-1 Fever for George Bowie. You had the likes of Tashcan in 2021, who was 9th in the King George after win previously. Sir Ron Priestley was 13th in the King George after win previously. And Making Miracles in 2018 was 7th in the King George. And 4-1 Fever stayed on really strongly to 4th in the King George at Ascot a couple of weeks ago, despite pulling half most of the contest. And it's not a trait you exactly want to see in a horse, pulling hard and going up in trip. But the fact that he's able to sustain that pace rather than weaken out with things suggests that he's quite a talented sort. Previously very progressive as well, done a double Chester. Donny ever really just does enough too. He's quite a big galloping sort. You don't really draw away at the finish. But I know that he's not bred for it immediately on the dam side, but the dam is a half-sister Scuffle, the dam of the Logician. So perhaps that's where the stamina will come from. So a chance that 4-1 Fever will be able to bounce back from that Ascot defeat.
Nice. 7-1 at the time of recording. As I say, I think there probably will be 4 places up for grabs in here. Matty's gone through that very quickly, Andrew. They've got 14 runners in here. Were you of a similar disposition in thinking that 4-1 Fever's got a good chance, or was there somewhere else you were looking?
Yeah, it's funny race, this one. It reminds me of the Ultimate Handicap Chase at Cheltenham, believe it or not, where you just back all those horses that are priced at 8-1 or shorter, and each way and make a good profit. I mean, if you backed everything that was in the top 3 in the betting, in the 7 previous runnings of this race, you'd have found every winner from 23 bets made a profit of £7.96. Now, the Geldings, who fell into that top 3 in the betting category, were 5 wins from 10 runners, plus £13.58. They weren't represented in the first running of this in 2017, so they've won 5 of the 6 years they've been represented, and then the only blank year in 2019, the only qualifier was 2nd. What's interesting as well, Colts have got a terrible record in this race. Colts are 2 wins from 37 starts. Now, you look at the betting, there are 5 horses priced at single figure odds, 8-1, between 4-1 and 8-1. Every single one of them is a colt. And so although, the likes of My Noble Lord, the shortest priced gelding in the market at 14-1, winner of 3 of his last 4 starts, isn't in that sort of head of the bay. I can imagine, 1 or 2 of the geldings being gambled on here. My Noble Lord is particularly interesting because of his forcing style, which we know is so effective at Haydock. He won easily at Ripon last time on Good to Soft. And again at Yarmouth the time before now, because he's won his last 2 starts by a combined margin of 9 lengths. Now that was in much lower grade, but with the yard going well, he's 3 from 4 since gelded. I just thought I might go My Noble Lord here. Hopefully the ground is on the soft side at the time of recording on Thursday, general election day. Don't forget to exercise your democratic right. It was good to soft in places, but we'll have had racing at Haydock on Thursday and Friday to find out what's going on in terms of the ground. But also have a look at East India Dock for James Fanshawe, first time cheap pieces. Filibustering wouldn't be out of it either as well. So I'd just be tempted to play some of the geldings here and sort of muck around with them in exotics as well. But at the moment, I'll just go My Noble Lord as the selection.
Awesome. And that's the beautiful thing with facts, isn't it? And trends. You can prove anything with them. You've had to delve a little bit deeper to get one, hopefully, at a price. So My Noble Lord for Andrew in the 205 at Haydock and 410 Fever. Right, back to Sandown. It's the Coral Challenge Handicap. This time over a mile. We've got last year's winner, Perotto, heading the market at, was 5-1, now 9-2. So been nibbled in a tiny bit. We've got, I think the next 6 runners behind are all single figure, so probably a theme of this Saturday until we get to the Eclipse. Looks a pretty competitive race on paper, Andrew. Who do you think might come out on top?
Yeah, it's one of those races where I'll sort of look for an angle, look at what to find one at a price, and I'm struggling really because Perotto is solid enough. He ran a great race at Royal Ascot. He won it last year, as you said. He does seem particularly effective when he's going right-handed, sort of right-handed, and he's won sort of 2 of his last 3 starts under these conditions. 7th to Johan when the draw and pace bias were against him at Goodwood in the other one. So he's going to go well under Ryan Moore, but then his chances covered in the price. You've got our old friend Dual Identity, who we talked about on the show before. He ran a good third here last time. He generally runs his races at Sandown. You sort of back him each way. You're going to be very disappointed if you're not collecting on this probably 4 places, I would imagine, with 1 or 2 firms. Too Tempting's course and distance record is second, first, with the last 2 defeats by a neck. So you've got 3 horses there, Perotto, Too Tempting and Dual Identity, all sort of 8-1-ish or shorter, that you're sort of struggling to keep out of the frame, really. The only angle that might throw a spanner in the works is they're racing at Sandown on Friday. It's good to firm ground. What often happens that the ground gets cut up on the inside, they water overnight, and then it's a bit slower on the inner, and then you see the winners come late wide round the outside. That's probably going to help Perotto of those ones I've mentioned because he's in stall 9. Ryan Moore is obviously going to know where the best place to be is. The one I didn't like here, who was shortish in the betting, was Magic Memories, just based on the fact that he needs soft ground, but that's fairly obvious, and I think he's on the drift already. 10s out to 12s. I'll go Perotto with the draw and the Ryan Moore angle, but it's a fairly obvious one, really. I'd just be disappointed if you bet him each way at 9-2 that you weren't getting your money back ish if he's in the first 4.
I like it. We do back favourites on this show too. You mentioned there, Andrew, there's plenty of horses we've talked about on the show previously. Matty, it does look like a pretty deep race. As I say, there's a good number of these that are single figure prices in here. Did you manage to whittle it down to one certainty, or would you probably play a couple in there?
Yeah, it's just a tricky race to kind of decipher, isn't it? Of the last 4 winners of the race, they've all come from the Royal Hunt Cup as well. So obviously back in Perotto, Holloway Boy, Metal Merchant, you'd probably find a profit for him back in one of those as well. And I think with Metal Merchant as well, he fared the best of those who raced were drawn low in the Royal Hunt Cup. You on stall 8, 5 of the 6 ahead of him coming from stall 17 to a 23. So you can upgrade that run from Metal Merchant. My only worry though is that, is he better on a flatter track like a Newbury? Just wonder whether Sandown can just catch him out in the business end. And a lot of these are quite exposed, aren't they? And so I just wonder whether it's worth taking a chance on Chichero's Gift for Charlie Hills. I know he's obviously had niggle actually kept him out since last season, since the St. James's Palace. But obviously the issue is top weight and that layoff. But he's 2 from 2 fresh. The ground's fine, and 107. He's going to have to be a very good horse to defy a mark of 107. But they still seem to think he's capable of being a group horse. And you think you can take this race and you can become a group horse. And you think as well, like he beat Docklands. Do you remember beating Docklands by about 3 lengths, giving away £9? Docklands is rated 115 now, and so he is well handicapped to a degree on that form. So I think maybe just play a Chichero's Gift in the hope that it could be the group horse in the handicap, and then have a small save on Metal Merchant as the part of the Royal Hunt Cup 3.
I like it. So you've got Class to Prevail in the Coral Challenge with Cicero's Gift. Top price 12-1. Interestingly, as short as 9-1 as well. So see how that one goes off when we come to the time of this being put out and by off time. And Andrew's gone for last year's winner, Perotto. Bit of each way fever I sense there, Andrew, at 9-2. Like we were saying, 3 places. Definitely up for grabs. Right, back in Haydock. It's time for their feature race of the day. It's the Group 2 Lancashire Oaks. There are some different opinions across the bookies as well in here. So there's loads of them, right? That are all, like I say, different in opinions. So Tiffany's as big as 5-2, as short as 2-1. We've got Queen of the Pride, the Roaring Lion daughter, that's 4-1 top price, 2-1 bottom price. So again, quite a bit of a discrepancy. Lady Boba's top price 5-1, but bottom price 3-1. Even Forest Fairies as low as 5-1. Sea Themes as low as 4-1. Sweet Memories as low as 5-1. So I wonder what percentage book they would be betting if you took the worst price of everything. But it's just another one like the other races we seem to have covered so far. It just looks like maybe the odds compilers are waiting for some money to come into the market to decide where things go. Does look a pretty decent renewal though. So do you think you can rule too many of these out?
Yeah, you kind of run 10 times, you got 10 different winners, isn't it? Tiffany's Progressive got that kind of Alpinista-esque about her. Could be another smart sort for her, so Matt Prescott. Queen of the Pride as well. Interesting, Ossie Murphy's come over here rather than to go Sandown to ride her. Obviously rode the Dam Roaring Lion, rode one of the Dam as well, group from the Dam. And but the one who's I think massively overpriced is Novus for Guy Moore and Tom Quealy. Look, she's banged there on ratings for mark of 106. I know she got the trip to contender as well, but her best effort was, well, the best effort I think was over at over 1 mile 2 at Newmarket in October on soft ground last season, and I just think she's been crying out for a trip like this. Stayed on well on a penultimate start, splitting Breege and Royal Dress, who obviously reversed that form of each other at Epsom in the Group 3 next time out. And obviously she's by Dandy Man, which doesn't scream 1 mile 6, does it? But she's out of a Monju Mare, won over 1 mile 6, and half sit at Fleur Man, a dual winner over 2. So you'd imagine that the trip should be fine. It's just a case of exploring it. And if she does improve for it, then she's entitled to be banged there, I think.
Nice, Andrew. As I say, the market seems to be a bit skew with it there. Matty's chucked up one at a big price at 16-1. Will you be joining in with something at the bottom of the market, or like we're saying, it looks a competitive enough race you could rerun it a few times? Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, Novus is all down to the ground. She's had 6 runs on ground rated good to soft or softer, based on the times according to Proform. 4 wins, 2 seconds. One of those seconds to Royal Dress this season, and another one by 3/4 of a length at Phillies Handicap at Glorious Goodwood last year. So again, 16-1 is massive if there is any more rain, but good to soft in places. I mean, depending on, we'll know more by Saturday. If it's good, she won't win. If it's genuinely good to soft, sort of Haydog good to soft, verging on heavy, then she's got an amazing chance and she'd be 5-1, not 16s. The strong statistical angle with this race concerns the age of the participants. 4-year-olds have won the last 10 renewals from 48 runners. You've only got 2 non-4-year-olds here. One of them's 50-1, 6-year-old Colossal, and the other one's Forest Fairy, who was unbeaten going into the Oaks and then ran poorly there. She's on the drift. So I'd probably sort of take her on. The other interesting angle is the pace. If you look at all in the last 10 years, hold-up horses are 0 from 35, front runners are 0 from 10. Those in between, horses who race prominently as some chase leaders, track leaders kind of ride, 10 winners from 29, a profit of £21.50, and again, the last 10 winners all finished in the top 3 last time out. So if you look at a sort of 4-year-old top 3 last time out, 10 wins from 35, profit £15.50. Try and find one who's going to be sort of ridden, relatively prominently as well. Will help you. The Goslings have got a good angle, a good record on that angle. 4 from 9. They've got Queen of the Pride, who's sort of 4-1, and then Sweet Memories. Now, Sweet Memories was the one that I was a little bit more interested in. We've had winners of this race who I think were making a seasonal reappearance before, and again, she seems happiest on sort of softish going. But has got form on good to firm, so she should be all right. And last season she was a winner, well backed, first time back when not reappearing until late July. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about the absence too much. But I want to be on Novus if it's genuinely good to soft or soft, or ideally soft or heavy. But as things stand, I'll go Sweet Memories.
I like it. And I mentioned about bottom prices for lots of horses in there because the market is a little bit skew with, I'd say, at the moment. Sweet Memories at the time of us recording is a top price 12-1, but is sort of 8-1, 17-2, and even 5-1 in a place as well. So could be money coming in for her. And it was Novus for Matty, 16-1. Andrew gave a little bit of a squeeze for that one too. Should the ground come up a little bit slower? Right, we are back in Esher. We're back in Sandown. We have got the Distaff. It's a fillies listed race over the mile. We've got 9 declared. Soprano looking to back up a Sandringham Stakes. Royal Ascot handicap win for Billy Lock Lane and George Bowie. Clove Hitch's next best for Ryan Moore and Andrew Baldwin. Trainer who took this in 2021 with Aurea, I think, under Oisin Murphy. So, Andrew, are you on board with this filly's upward curve? That is Soprano. Do you think it warrants her being favourite in here?
Yes, I think so. Probably based on form. You look at the record of Sandringham runners, in this race. They've done all right. Even though I think everyone that's lined up in the last 10 years was sort of third or worse at Ascot. Stall 9 could be helpful as well. I'm going to get some massive after timing now that I did back Mystic Pearl in this race last year at 22-1. Despite her being like on ratings, like having no chance. I mean, we've seen quite a few times this season already that the bigger yards will chuck a filly who looks completely out of it on ratings at a race like this, a listed race, so they can increase their sort of breeding value. But again, you look at what happened last year. The inside of the track was no good. There was pace, and you had to be wide. And the first three were drawn 11, 10, and 8, and the draw trumped pretty much everything else in the race. Draw and pace. It was whoever's challenged widest won, and that's. I mean, again, if you go back through this race in the last 10 years, you go back every horse who was drawn 5 or higher. That's 9 renewals because I think we missed a COVID year. Profit of £43.58. Horses drawn 1 to 4, 0 from 36, and again, there's a strong trainer angle. Haggis is 3 from 5 in the last 9 renewals. Gosden 2 from 6. Andrew Balding 2 from 2. That brings in his Clove Hitch coming out of stall 7, who was the best price 4-1 when I looked at this race a couple of hours ago, and is now into 100 to 30 best. Yeah, bolted up at Newbury last time by 8 lengths. That was just in a Phillies novice contest. So I'll go Clove Hitch, but again, it will be. Hopefully there's a wide bias, the inside's no good, and it will just be a case of muck around with exactas and trifectas on sort of Soprano, Unreasonable, and Clove Hitch coming up the 3 highest draws.
I like it. So we've got 9 runners in here. Matty, Andrew's respecting the favourite, but taking her on. What's your view on the race?
Yeah, I'm glad that Andrew mentioned Mystic Pearl, actually. I remember we was talking about her a while ago, and you might remember, is it Lava Stream this season gone from a mark of 78 to win a listed contest and being second by a neck in the Ribblesdale. So no, it can happen with these fillies. And I did find it's not a race I'm overly keen on getting involved with, but I did find it interesting that Tiara Queen was the sole Haggis representative here. I mean, I know she got chunked to final ratings, obviously, and but as Andrew mentioned, Haggis won this 3 times, including with Mystic Pearl last season. It was 7 or 8 rated, beating the 103 rated Stenting Glider. And so Mark of 77 shouldn't wholly put us off. And she won in the Man of the Smart Philip Weatherby last time out. And I was actually there at Thirsk yesterday when the runner-up bolted up by 4 lengths in a quicker time when won by English Oak last season. So I do think the rating of 77 will easily flatter her. And I just think she could easily come right on the outside and then nick a place at a big price.
Because it's not often you get the back of last time out William Haggis trained winner who's 66-1.
No,
certainly not. Especially when, like Matty's touched on, the second from that last runs that come out and won well next time. So 66-1 top price time recording. General 40-1 shot. Tiara Queen for Matty in the distaff. The rank outsider of the field, although it is being battled by Grazing, and it was Clove Hitch for Andrew. So. Yeah, boys, we're starting to get excited. I'm getting some big price ones in there. Right, we'll move on to...
We'll pay for that wedding yet, Matty.
We will indeed. We'll hopefully get an invite as well off the back of it. Hint, hint. Right, the 3:15 at Haydock. It's the penultimate race on ITV this Saturday, and it's our last from Haydock. It's the Old Newton Cup over 1 mile, 4 furlongs. We've got 19 declared, but that's with 2 reserves. It's a maximum field size of 17. There are 5 places up for grabs. But again, there's a few butting heads towards the front of the market. Relentless Voyager just tops it as a general 4-1 shot. We've got Layakel. He's as low as 4-1, but as big as 11-2 in there. We've got Chillingham's pretty close in behind as well, 15-2, but again, as low as 5-1. Epic Poets, the biggest one of the ones that are single figures, or they can be as big as 10-1 in places. So look, there's lots of... I don't know. There's lots of races this Saturday where the market aren't really giving us any clues in there, but there's got to be some juicy value there to be found. Matty, I'm trusting that following your recent 80-1 and 33s and 40-1 winners, you can find it for us. What wins the Old Newton Cup?
Yeah, no pressure. Thanks, Dave. I thought this was quite simple. To be honest with you, She Rocks for Eve Horton. This has to have been the plan since the end of his term last season. This race. being 1 length fifth after being quite progressive. And it's £2 lower now after reappearing in the Duke of Edinburgh Stakes at Ascot. Staying on, kind of shaped like needing the run, stayed on to finish 10th. Came down quite well after a 349-day layoff. But should be primed now, £2 lower. And Callum Shepherd takes just his second start for the yard. And I think it's as simple as that.
Wow. I mean, I was expecting with there being a race with reserves in there, Andrew, that might take a little bit of time to go through. But Matty's straight in, no nonsense with Sheerox 14-1. As I say, there's 5 places up for grabs. Do you think you'll need to use them?
Yes, probably. I haven't got a particularly strong opinion in this race. There were 3 on my radar. One interesting angle is that horses who prepped over 10 furlongs or shorter last time out, just 1 from 24 in the last 10 years. Quite a few of the fancied horses fall into that category. An all-weather prep hasn't been helpful either. No wins from 13 starts for the qualifiers. So first up on the shortlist, Relentless Voyager seems to be happier in bigger fields. Fields of 10 or more runners, form figures of second, first, third and first. That would be a place pot horse. Have to give a mention to Mysterious Love at a big price, 33-1, coming out of stall 1, just based on that Epsom 6 to Bolster. Now, Bolster made all that day, and the horses who were ridden patiently, those that have run since have run well. The 4th Haunted Dream got beaten just under 2 lengths, came out and ran second to the Gosden's Isra at Royal Ascot. And of course, Lord Melbourne, I actually backed in this Epsom race at 66-1 and bigger, went off 11-1. Ended up finishing 5th. Very unlucky in the run. Went off, say, 11-1, and then won well back to York next time. I don't back Serena Brotherton horses because she's not the jockey she used to be, in amateur rider races. But this was a steering job, and you and me would have won on this, Dave. So you've had 2 hold-up horses run really well out of that. Just behind Haunted Dream and Lord Melbourne was Mysterious Love, a 28-1 shot. But I wasn't sure that he stayed the 10 furlongs that day, because now he's up to 1.5 miles for the first time in his life. So it's one of those ones that probably doesn't stay, but he's 33-1, and we've only got to get in the first 4 or 5 to get a return. So I'd have to throw a couple of quid each way at that one. The price of a lottery ticket. There's one for bingo fans. And the other one is Matty's Sheerox, who I wrote up in Racing Football Outlook after that Ascot comeback run. £2 lower than when I closed up 5th at 6-1 last year. The only downside, though, is he's yet to win in a field of 8 or more runners. So I was hoping that his next run would be in a smallish field. But again, he's one that, I'll chuck 3 in my place pot. I'd put Relentless Voyager, Mysterious Love and Sheerox. But I'll put up Mysterious Love each way as the sort of token each way selection for the purposes of this podcast and video.
I like it. So a bit of agreement for the boys there. Sheerox, it was for Matty, and Mysterious Love is on that Andrew's whittled it down to, but he has got those 3 on the short list. We do like it with the stat stuff, don't we, when they haven't won in those fields? But I guess I just take that, Andrew, from you saying that if Sheerox doesn't win this time, we'll bet next time out when in a smaller field.
That's the kind of thing I look for, and it's funny. There's so many horses who prefer small fields, and when they're unlucky in running in a field of sort of 12 or 15 runners, people back them next time, and not putting 2 and 2 together. Well, the reason they were unlucky is because they don't handle traffic. And you look at comments like switched, not clear run, hampered. They crop up time and time again. So we'll see. All will be revealed in the fullness of time.
Absolutely, and that's it, innit? You can put selections up. They might get a little bit unlucky, but at least we're citing some sort of information in there that might help us further down the line. Right, I think we might need all the trends in the world to work out what wins the final race on ITV. Back at Sandown, it's City of Troy again. We haven't got White Birch run in for the second time. And we're talking about blood work and things and bits of work that he had to do to come in there. So fingers crossed everything's all okay with him. But we do have a field of 8. So while we've got City of Troy installed as the 1 to 3 favourite, and of course the most likely winner of the race, there are 3 places up for grabs, and I'm sure there will be betting without the favourite angles in there as well. So I'll put it to you 2 boys. Start with Andrew. Is there a way in on this race? Because let's be honest, we've had some seriously good horses that win this. Their names that go on the honours roll are just absolute aeroplanes of the sport in time. So my heart, as much as it's a short price, not a betting opportunity, my heart really wants City of Troy to add his name to it, because that Derby performance is pretty special. But Andrew, is there a betting way into this race?
Yeah, because I mean, it should be illegal not to have a bet in this race, because you've got 8 runners and an odds-on favourite. You could say really you've got 7 runners, because Hans Andersen is like 100 to 1 shot, who's the likely pacemaker for City of Troy. I mean, I think if I was a bookmaker, I'd be less keen on taking an each-way bet on this race than I would be on laying a Conservative Party member the date of the next election. But I mean, City of Troy. Yeah, if you judge him solely on his Derby win, he wins this. But in the back of your mind is, well, what happened in the 2,000 Guineas? But on his other form, he should win. I'm going to look for an each-way bet. Dancing Gemini, I wasn't massively keen on the 8 to 1 second favourite. Ghostwriter, perhaps been a little bit underwhelming this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the 3, though. I was semi-interested in JRB for Brian Meehan, who did my King's Gambit nap at Royal Ascot, whether that was down to the ride on the runner-up, as most people seem to think with William Buick or not. But perhaps not enjoying Chester, that run aside, below. In Britain, he's 3 from 3. So apart from that modest effort at Chester, so JRB could go well, 20 to 1 each way. And See the Fire, when I put up at Royal Ascot, thought she ran a blinder from the wrong side of the track in the 1,000 Guineas when 12th to El Malka. She was only 15 to 2 that day, beat 14.5 lengths. It's strange to say she ran a blinder, but given the track bias and you had to be on the stand side and you had to come late, that was a good effort. So each way 4 places I was on at Ascot, and needless to say she finished 5th, got beaten nose for 4th by El Malka, despite starting at 50 to 1. So I think stepping up in trip might suit her, and I'll probably put a couple of quid each way on her at 66 to 1 if I can get that sort of price. Stay Alert wouldn't be impossible either. So yeah, my angle would be to back something each way, probably JRB and See the Fire at this time.
I like it. Matty, Andrew has alluded to the fact that this is a bad each way, the bookies would call this. A 1 to 3 poke in there that probably should win on the best part of the form. But obviously we saw what happened, and we know that Aidan O'Brien has had a few horses in his yard that for whatever reason, every now and again, just don't seem to fire. So I'm guessing you won't be putting up City of Troy, but who will you be throwing in here as that's muggy each way bet, I guess? Although it probably isn't so muggy, is it, considering he's probably beatable?
Yeah, look, I mean, on all known form, he should win. The only slight concern you could have is obviously dropping back in trip, and he looked so strong at the finish at Epsom. And that was, of course, it does tend to favour those who are quicker over a mile and 2. So mile 4, sorry. So, but that's just you're just picking at straws. I think he should win realistically. So, but yeah, I think if you can play without the favourite market or the each way market, and then Stay Alert, I think it's an excellent price in that one. I mean, look, the players that are often taken up in this race by an older sort, you have 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds winning and placing, and so the angle could be to kind of look for the older horse and Stay Alert. And she was only she raced last weekend, didn't she, in the Pretty Polly? I'd be interested to know what Hugh Morrison's stats are. Not Andrew no more than me, but Hugh Morrison's stats and turning a horse out a week later would be. I'd be interested to know that. And obviously she has to give weight away to the 3-year-olds, and it's a quick turnaround from the Pretty Polly. But no, the fact that they are coming here suggests she must be bouncing at home. And obviously she got an excellent record at 1 mile 2. Second, Nash was in first that day, a third, a 9th and a 5th, and the latter 2 weren't bad runs at all. And look, she's got proven ability to compete with classy sorts, such as Via Sistina in the Pretty Polly last season, and arguably she could have won that race as well. Nashwa, running line, of course, who she beat earlier on the season in May, who came out one at Ascot. So she's got proven form to kind of beat these classy types, or at least run just as well these classy types. And you just wonder whether if some of the 3-year-olds kind of falter, the likes of Dancing Gemini and JRB, Ghostwriter, if they kind of do falter and Stay Alert can pick up the pieces from Rhea, I think she'd a great each way bet.
Yeah, as big as 80 to 1 as in the outright market. Would you look at just betting her in the normal market because there's 8 runners, or would you still look to bet without City of Troy?
I'd probably just bet each way, definitely. Yeah.
I like it. And you touched on that quick turnaround stuff. I think the quickest one I remember from last year was when she was second to that VS16. I'm pretty sure she ran a couple of weeks before that. And that was her second run last year, which probably is like a career high. So maybe this is all by design. So Matty's put up Stay Alert there at 80 to 1 the mare in the Eclipse. Andrew's going to probably play JRB and See the Fire each way.
Yeah, just go back to Huey Morrison, quick return. If you backed any of his horses who came back to the track within, between 1 and 7 days since their latest run, since 2010, 24 winners from 112, 21%, and a profit of just over £6 at SP. So you're slightly over the expected number of winners. So it's certainly not a negative angle, as it rarely is for any trainer, apart from a Mick Appleby last time out winner.
I like it. And of course, with Stay Alert being an 80 to 1 poke, if she does go in, then that return on investment will go through the roof for the next 10 years, won't it, probably?
Yeah, so we double up with that 66 to 1 shot that Haggis won in the fillies. And there's the wedding paper.
There's the wedding. There's the wedding.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it does look a pretty trappy Saturday's ITV racing. As I say, there's a few like muddy markets in there. So we've quoted the prices at the time of recording. It's about 2:30 on Thursday, but I think the boys have come up with a few gems in there. But that is everything from the ITV stuff. While I've both got you on, I'll check if you've any early fancies from anywhere else, and then it will be nap time. So that's fair warning to you, Andrew. But Matty, I'll come to you. Anything from anywhere else?
Yeah, I do actually. I've been waiting for Blake to run since his fourth at Epsom in the 412 Sandown on Saturday. They found a golden opportunity now, dropped into 0-80 company. And my only slight concern is that it won't be soft enough for him. He loved the soft ground at Sandown, and it was quite a tall, leggy colt by Pivotal Mare. Just no surprise that he revelled in the going, but they are forecast 5 to 9 millimetre of rain, and they have been walking throughout the week, so I'm hoping it'll be soft enough. But I mean, you look what he did last time out. He absolutely hated Epsom, completely hated the course. He broke slowly away, he couldn't find a gap inside to settle on the outside, changing his legs, but then he came home really strongly. And prior to that, he pulled clear with a bit of guard over a mile here on his penultimate start, who won next time out. Who won well next time out, and he also bumped into Lava Stream as well at Doncaster. And then Lava Stream, as well as the rate now, I think it's £30 higher, I think now. So Blake's incredibly well handicapped off of mark 79, and I think if the ground's fine, he'll win cosily.
Oh, I like it. So that's the 0-80 handicap coming at the 412 at Sandown. Matty's thrown in Blake to get us out of it if we've struggled on the ITV races. Andrew, did you have time to look for anything from anywhere else?
No, not had a chance yet. So check out my column, of course, on gg.co.uk, and hopefully something else in there.
Nice. Okay, Andrew, I will give you a bit more time, but we are about to do the naps. I've obviously not tipped anything up this week, so I'm just going to sit this one out, which again might be blissful hearing to some people out there. But Matty, back to you for your nap. Are you going for one of the big price ones or something a bit more secure?
You know what? I think I'll go with Stay Alert each way, 80 or 66 to 1.
Jesus, in the Eclipse, I like it. Matty, the super sub, is trying to stay on that big priced winner streak. Andrew, you definitely can't outdo that. Where's your nap coming from?
It half describes me. I'm going for a desperate hero in the 150 at Sandown.
Perfect. Awesome. Right, that's this week's show wrapped up. We will be back next week, hopefully, with all the support that you guys are showing by making sure you're subscribed to the channel, and smashing the like button means that we will see Kate back. But regardless, I want to thank both Andrew and Matty for their hard work. Like I say, it was a pretty trappy looking card, but I think these boys have found some gems in there. Hopefully, we'll be finding plenty more winners. We're on reasonable form, I'd say, at the moment. We're coming out of a bit of a dodgy patch into a purple patch. So big thanks once again to our sponsors, BetMGM. Most importantly, though, thank you to you guys at home for your support. Have great weekends. I wish you all the best and be lucky.